Welcome to Living in the New Paradigm. Thank you so much for joining live. Thank you so much for listening or watching in the future. So many of you probably have been going through very strange changes, very strange symptoms, some bizarre occurrences, awarenesses, shifts, downloads, and from what I see, understand, and hear from my friends and clients, many people are kind of confused with all those changes and they don't know what to make of it. They don't know if they're going crazy. They don't know if they should go on the meds. And they don't know if they should die or live. They don't know if they should stay in the relationship or not. So I just wanted to clarify a few things that I learned along the way during this process that has been quite uncomfortable for me. But knowing what it is kind of gave me energy, motivation, and drive to stay alive and keep going forward. So maybe for some of you, these changes are more intense than for others, but from what I understand, most people that have been already on some kind of path of self-discovery, spiritual path, awakening path, or experiencing quiet and difficult times. And it has been going for some for a few months, for some for a few years. And for me, the most intense changes started last summer, I would say, where I really didn't know what's happening to me. I really didn't understand what's going on. Am I going crazy? Why am I so depressed? Why do I have these huge mood swings? Why do I feel confused all the time? My eyes get blurry. My body's strange. I have strange reactions to foods and places and spaces and people as well. And I had the urge to clear up my life, and I couldn't stand people that I could tolerate before. I couldn't stand people that were wasting my time. I became more irritable and less patient, which I used to be always so happy and joyful, and I didn't understand, why am I getting so mean, or what's happening to me, and why don't I have a compassion for everyone, and I'm not so kind to everyone. I felt very lost and very confused, and at times I really thought dying is a better option than staying alive. Along with that, my personal life went upside down. I left my husband and I started the divorce process that is still going on. Hopefully will be finished very soon. But that added to the intensity. And I also had a strong awareness, knowing urge to leave any organization I was affiliated with. And I was getting very strong messages, information to stop following any dogma, to stop being in any group, but go within and trust me and learn about me way more. And I kind of not learn, but rediscover and remember who I was, which I was doing my whole life. I'm one of those people that have been on the path since I can remember. I didn't have to go through some horrific accident or disease to wake me up, to remind me of who I was. I always was interested in spirituality or metaphysics or everything that wasn't normal, everything that was not the mainstream. But still, I had this strong knowing and awareness and intuition and perception of this something new happening. So I started asking, is this a part of the process, whatever was going on? And believe me or not, almost every time something strange was happening to me, it was a big yes. And how do I know it's a yes? I just, over the years, learn how to trust my light and my heavy. So if something is light for me, I know it's a yes, or it's a confirmation. And if something is heavy, it's a no. Or if the energy is flowing, it's also a yes. And if energy feels stuck and doesn't move, it can be a no. So I trained myself to really trust those yeses and nos, because I realized there's nobody out there who can actually help me on a daily basis, who can lead me and hold my hand and tell me things. And I have to learn how to distinguish all of this for myself. And I did have tendency in the past to be very dependent on people telling me things, on all kinds of psychics and cards and oracles to guide me, to help me, to lead me, to push me. And this has been my biggest target in the last 10 years, I would say, to really drop that and stop that and trust myself and become the dominant entity in my life. And many of you know I went deeply into talk to the entities work. That really is my great passion. And learn to trust that I can, to trust that I'm capable, to acknowledge who I was. And I still get that I and most of us acknowledge only a small degree and small percentage of who we actually are, what we are on this planet, why we're here. If even still listening to me, I believe that you're one of those people that see yourself as probably different, probably special, yet you don't fully acknowledge the level of the gift that you are, and the difficulties that come and the consequences that come from you not acknowledging fully and not stepping fully into who you are. And this is crucial right now in those times of stepping into the new paradigm. And I talk about it a little bit more in a minute, to really fully embrace you and to go within. This is the time of a great shift, when from being focused outwards, we have to go upwards, which actually means go within. And once we go within, our vibrations, our frequencies will accelerate, will rise, and we'll be able to shift people and places and spaces around us. And Heather is saying, always aware of my uniqueness more deeply than ever before. And thank you so much for saying it. And yes, you are actively pursuing all of it and being an amazing teacher and facilitator for many, and a leader of consciousness for many. So we need all of us to step into that role. You all have some capacity, some gifts that you only have. Your vibrations are unique. Your vibrations are special. You're the only one with those vibrations on the planet and in the universe. So by you choosing to stay small and not choosing to fully embrace who you are, you're actually robbing the planet of those vibrations. And for all of us to go forward, we all have to claim on and acknowledge our potency, our power, our uniqueness, our beauty, our brilliance, and step into and activate all those energies that lay dormant for many, many, many years. And some of you have been on this planet for many, 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 many lifetimes and have many memories, and probably have been working on clearing stuff from this lifetimes or accessing the information from this lifetimes. But what I discovered, many of us are actually new to this planet or haven't been here many times, and many of these lifetimes, or implanted or imprinted, which means we're working on something that's not real. So a good question to ask when you're working on your past lifetimes, on your karma, trying to clear that, ask, is this real, or is this implanted or imprinted? And I discovered that most of it was. So, and I discovered that I wasn't here very often and very much. And I've been in other places and spaces and planets and universes, playing in different realms before I came here. So maybe this will be true for you as well. And if you're one of these people from the outside, they're called star seeds or star children. There are different names in the spiritual community that refer to people like us. You might feel those changes and shifts occurring now even more intensely. So the shift started occurring already in 2012. You all heard about the end of the Mayan calendar, and it was the end of the time as we know it, because we started shifting into higher frequencies, and the earth started shifting into higher frequencies to become more energetic. And people that have been on a part of this group that is quite large are shifting into something that's called fifth density or dimension. And there are 12, some people say 9, some people say 13, some people say infinite amounts of densities or dimensions that we can access. From what I gathered and got is that we actually have the capacity to switch and to shift to different timelines, realities. And this is probably what has been happening to you when you feel confused or strange, or you don't know what's happening to you. And I had many of those moments when I kind of felt dizzy or kind of felt like everything is shifting and I'm driving the car, but I feel like I'm not, or I'm in some kind of a matrix or some kind of projection. And it is very bizarre feeling until I started enjoying it and asking, okay, is this part of the process? Yes. Okay. Am I kind of having glimpses in different realities? And parallel realities is something that might be almost identical to what you see around you right now, but maybe the book that you're looking at will have a different title or it won't be there. It can be very, very slightly different, or it can be very, very different. But there are unlimited amounts of timelines and realities, and we actually have capacity to switch around and access them. That's why you might be feeling strange or something might be missing while you know it was right there minutes ago, or something appears where it shouldn't be there. So there are this really strange, bizarre occurrences that get you confused and you start questioning your sanity rather than asking, okay, is this part of the shift? Am I expanding my consciousness? Am I actually accessing different realities? But it happened to me a few times that I got almost like paralyzed. I couldn't move. I was sitting and there was this really strong energy buzzing in my body, but I couldn't move. And I could think, I could ask questions, and I got that I am somewhere else. And I couldn't pull myself back in how I normally do and how I teach in my classes. Just jump back in, pull yourself back in, go back to your body. I couldn't. I was gone. And it was very strange, but I just kind of had to be an allowance of it and accept the fact that I cannot move and I'm somewhere else. And I got that I was in different reality doing something. And a few times I got awareness that I'm doing something very, very important in those realities, and I really can't interrupt that. So, so expanding our kind of range of our mind can also help dealing with those things. Almost like you become a living person in something that you maybe earlier would describe as only science fiction movies or fantasy movies. Now all of this is becoming a reality. And for me, it's very exciting and wonderful. And I'm really curious about the future. And for some, it's very scary. I've seen a lot of bouts of depression, a lot of people dying, a lot of people getting sick, a lot of people really, really, really having hard time with this reality. And those are the people that I hope, I'm really hoping I can contribute to, we all can contribute to, because those are people, they're still holding on to the old paradigm, the old way of living based in duality, based in judgment based in separation. And it's time to step into something different, into oneness, acknowledge that oneness is real, and embrace it with everything we've got. Because this is the new earth, this is the new paradigm, this is the living in a very different reality, rather than holding on to the old. So all the karmic stuff that have been hunting us for centuries, or releasing all the paradigms, limitations, thoughts, feelings, emotions that are based in guilt and blame and shame and regret and judgment, or leaving. So sometimes you might be feeling horrible. Something is just, you feel so angry and so bad and so terrible, and you're wondering what's happening to you. You ask all the questions: who does this belong to? What's going on? And nothing works. Nothing is moving. Ask, is this a part of the change of the process? And ask, is just a massive amount of old energy leaving? And for me, it's almost always a yes. Also, what I noticed, and you can ask those questions yourself if you are also doing this kind of work, I've noticed that I'm shifting not only myself and my energy and my past, I'm also shifting places and spaces and people around me. And there's some capacity I have with the land, and I've been working a lot on the land wherever I am. And I find myself on different places on the planet working on the land. And before, I didn't really know and understand what was going on. I just had an awareness that I'm working on a huge radius of the land, and not only just the little place I'm in. Sometimes it was 100 or 1,000 miles radius. And I was wondering, what am I doing? And recently I got that I am kind of reactivating, reconnecting the crystalline grid on the planet that is now getting activated. And ask if you're one of those people working on this crystalline grids. And this is what I was doing for several years already, not fully understanding what am I doing. So it's nice to know what was going on. And also it's nice to know now my future travels, I can ask questions, and I will be more prepared to what will occur, because sometimes this work was very uncomfortable for me, and I had to do other things in physical world, and energetically was very taxing on me, and I didn't know, what am I doing? I just knew I'm working on something. And kind of knowing what it is gave me a little bit of comfort, and I could relax into the process. And Shifra says, I never thought of that old energy leaving. I love that awareness. Thank you. Yes, we do have loads and loads and loads of old energies that we function from for centuries, and all of this has to go. Anything that keeps us stuck in polarity, anything that keeps us stuck in the separation, all the judgments, all the limitations, all negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, they really have to go. We are becoming the creatures of awareness and consciousness, where we can actually act on our awareness. We don't have to plan ahead. We don't have to, if it makes you feel better, of course, plan ahead. But this is part of the shifting into a new paradigm. We'll be functioning more from a total awareness and consciousness and trust. Also, there's something called surrender or spiritual surrender, and you can read on it. And I got it one day when I was going through some really, really uncomfortable times. And I really didn't know what to do at this point. And I keep hearing surrender, surrender. I was like, what does it mean? I don't want to surrender. I'm not in war. I don't want to do that. And that was kind of the awareness of, I need to just let go of trying to control it. I need to let go and be in allowance of what is. Oh, my hamster is making big noises. Sorry if you hear the scratching noises. It's my hamster trying to escape his cage. He's shifting into the new reality too, maybe. Poor thing, he's scratching through the floor just to get to another floor. Yes, I hope you don't hear it too much. But I wanted to read, I prepared a list of things that might be what you were experiencing, and some of it I already mentioned. Oh, let's see first. Being aware of many people having lung aspects issues coming up and clearing. Yes. And people have lungs problems, heart problems. I've seen a lot of kidney problems. I've seen a general like detoxification of the body that looks like somebody's getting really, really sick, but it's just body letting go of the toxins, emotional toxins, energetic toxins, but also physical toxins. My liver became so sensitive that I can have 2 sips of alcohol or coffee and it starts hurting. And I was like, what is that? Like, I can't have anything anymore. That's fun. And I got that it's just clearing all the toxicity from my system, all kinds of toxicities that even like something that's a little bit more acidic or toxic will throw it off. So my body forced me to eat cleaner, not drink, and I have to have more fruits and vegetables, and this is all I crave. And before I ate it because I thought I should, but I didn't really crave it. And I can't eat much processed food. If I do, I don't feel well. It's not fun, and yet I know this is assisting my body in the ascension process, basically. So why make it difficult on your body if already things are so uncomfortable? And Carol says that I've been stuck in polarity. It's like I could receive lots and lots of information of pain, suffering. The questions you said brought me relief, lots of relief. Thank you so much, honey. Oh, I feel you. Thank you. So what it is, what I've noticed, I thought I cleared a lot. You know, my whole life I've been doing different modalities, different systems for the last 9 years, using tools of access, but before so many different tools of so many different modalities. And when this started, all of this stuff started coming up, and I was like almost angry, like, what's happening? I thought I cleared it stuff. I thought I addressed it. I thought it's been gone. Why is it still here? Why am I so angry? And the anger kept coming, and a resentment and irritation. I was like, why am I such an angry bitch suddenly? I haven't been this person. And now all of this is coming out. And I really, really was so annoyed with the fact that all of this is still there. But what I realized, this is like deeper layers of things that maybe I covered up with something, with my joy, or with just creation, constant creation and constant drive to do things, rather than really going deeply within and be quiet, because I was always on the go. I never took time to sit down in quiet, meditate, and go within, because I was always going and creating and creating and doing. So now I was forced, my body literally forced me to stay still. And as much as I needed to actually create and work, I couldn't. So I was almost like hitting a wall every time I wanted to do something when I needed to stay still. So I started sleeping more, laying down during the day, resting more during the day, which I never, ever did before, because I was always too busy and having children and working. I didn't allow myself to have that comfort of slowing down during the day. And now I had to, and I still have like guilt popping here and there. I should be working, I should be doing things, while I can only just sit and breathe. But the moment I sit down, the moment I slow down, what happens? I get instant information. There are energies showing up. There are downloads showing up, activations, reactivations. I have all kinds of strange things happening in my body the moment I sit down. And I can perceive those energies urging me to slow down, urging me to go within, to get still. And I worked with entities so much, and with light beings, and all kinds of energetic beings out there. And now more than ever, they are present, and they are just there all the time. Legions of light beings, masters, also actually intergalactical beings started showing up on regular basis. The earth spirits are there. The earth is there. So the moment I sit down and relax and I say, okay, guys, go, there is this downloads and presence. And usually what they want to do, it's just they want to contribute. So if you've been trying to clear entities around you, or feeling like you are tired, or there is some overwhelming sensation around you, ask, do you have entities around you? And entities or energies that are defined in any way. So that can be, usually it's not the entities that we want to clear, that people, sometimes they show up, but usually from my experience, it's a lot of light beings that are actually here to contribute, which is very beautiful and amazing to know that we are not alone on this process. I thought I'm alone. I thought I'm the only one going through this. And when I started opening up, talking to people, turned out there are many that are going through this. And I had to kind of go into the space of being vulnerable and admitting that something is going on, that I am not feeling that great. And I usually tend to go into the cave and hole and not talk to anyone, and not appear on Facebook, and not being in contact with anyone. But I started just admitting, like, this is what's going on. I feel horrible. I'm on the floor and I don't even, I'm unable to move. But the moment I started just embracing it, being vulnerable with it, being present with it, being in allowance of it, asking questions, it's kind of got easier. And some of the symptoms include as well this big roller coaster of emotions. You feel on top of the world one day or 1 hour, and then you feel like you want to die, and life is horrible, and world is horrible, and everything is going to crap, and why are we even here? And I've never had such big roller coasters before, emotional roller coaster before, maybe when I was a teenager, but not in my 20s and 30s and 40s. And I realized this is part of it too, and it's listed as one of the symptoms of our ascension, our shifting into the fifth density or higher densities from the third density. So I have a list of different symptoms that you might recognize for yourself. Interrupted sleep patterns. Many of people I've been talking to either sleep a lot or wake up in the middle of the night and they cannot go back to sleep. It can be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Sometimes it's some magical time, 3:33 or 2:22 or 1:11 and 4:44, and then they cannot go back to sleep. They're awake, fully awake. They can't go back to sleep, even if they're trying to go back to sleep. So, so this is one of the symptoms. Be okay with that. Try to rest during the day if there's need, but let go of any idea of, okay, we need 8 hours of sleep, because this no longer is required by our bodies. Sometimes it will be 4 hours of sleep, sometimes it will be 14 hours of sleep, and just go with the flow. Hopefully your lifestyle, your daily routines will allow you to catch up or create space for yourself. So headaches, but those are very strange headaches. They are kind of different pressures on different parts of the heads, and I've had it a lot too. And sometimes it feels like my crown chakra is opening, or there's this big pressure on top of my head or side of the heads. I feel like somebody is squeezing my brain or drilling into my brain. And when I ask, is this part of the process? It says yes. So there says I'm up until 1 a.m. and sleep later. Yes. So this is very, very typical. Visions and or sight issues. Yes, my eyes sometimes are blurry, sometimes are not. I got new glasses, but they don't really work. So I have them, but I don't really wear them because my eyes already changed. Sometimes they're great, sometimes not so much. So this is also part of it. Dropping things and bumping into things. You feel clumsy. And usually when I felt clumsy or felt like that, my first question or go-to question would be, am I in my body? And I can be in my body, I still feel disoriented and strange, and I drop and I yesterday I hit my foot like I don't know how many times, and I was so irritated with myself in my home, which I know, and there was no surprise objects on the floor. It still worked. Emotional mood swings, I talked about it. Unable to focus, unusual. Yes, you might feel like you have a horrible ADHD or ADD, or you want to run around and you want to do things that you haven't done before, or you exceptionally slow. Your memory is gone. This is also a sign of the process, because we are moving from memory-based reality into consciousness-based reality, where we do have access to all the information at will. So we don't have to store their memories and the information and the knowledge. We can move into the wisdom, have access to wisdom of everything that is, which is pretty cool, right? So losing track of time, yes. Oh my gosh. Either time goes crazy fast or slow, or how did it happen that's already this time, or how is it still this time? So this is also a sign of us moving, because the timelines are moving, and time is different. It accelerated. So just don't judge yourself if you like didn't accomplish something on time, even though you planned, or don't be surprised if you do something really fast. So heightened sensitivity, and this could be sense of smell, hearing, taste, but also heightened sensitivity to people, to energies, to places. I've noticed it. I am so much more aware of somebody being sad, somebody being sick, somebody being emotionally unstable, and it's almost unbearable. It's so intense. It's almost unbearable. But then it's like, okay, did I change in the way I perceive things? Yes. Okay, relax into it. What energy would I have to become? Would I have to become and be with those energies? And then I can relax into it and just acknowledge this is the way it's going to be now. We're going to be more aware of things. So if you're surrounded by negative, angry people, you might feel negative and angry. If you're surrounded by people with a lot of issues and limitations and stuck in old ways, you might suddenly feel very strange and you want to run away. So hearing high-pitched tones, different tones, ringing the ears, also low, like the low frequency sounds. This I've heard from many people that this is happening. Heartburn, chest pressure, heart palpitations, different strange sensations with the heart. I experienced that. Many people have as well. Anxious, free-flowing energy. And yes, there is anxiety that happens. And I've noticed this is usually related to something happening around me. So the greatest question is this mine? Am I perceiving something? And so far, it was always me perceiving something. Heightened sensitivity to toxic environment, talked about it. Suicidal thoughts, yes. Many people, as you probably heard, or committing suicide. The suicide lines or like off the chart busy. They are hiring everyone possible. They have extra people working extra hard overtime, because there's this amazing, I don't know if it's amazing, but it's a huge wave of people trying to get out of here. And so you also can have waves and jolts of energy going through your body. I have it a lot, and whoever worked with me, I start shaking when energy is moving through me. And it's so intense sometimes, and it's just unexpected. I can be cooking in the kitchen and suddenly I go through like series of seizures, but I got quite used to it. And I ask if I'm changing something, downloading something. And usually I know what it is. So it's either changing or downloading or upgrading or activating something. And sometimes it's all my body, sometimes it's part of my bodies. I had a really severe arm and hand pain for months, and I knew it's activating something. Now I know what it is, and it's pretty cool, but it was very uncomfortable. And sometimes I even took painkillers, I must admit, because I couldn't take the pain, and nothing else worked. So That can happen as well. So, and also this energy flows is unblocking energy, and it's creating shifts in your energetic bodies. So you can have sudden urge for space, which is very interesting. Many of you, and I've heard this, and I had it too, like have urge to create space, clean, remove clutter, go outside. You just need to have space around you. So awesome if you do. Your house will look better probably. And also you might feel crowded by people. If you're surrounded by people, if you're working with people, you might feel like you need to get away from them. Intense desire for change, and this can be change in any aspect of your life. You might feel like you have to quit your job, you might have to leave your relationship, or distance yourself from your family, or do something for yourself. Take up these classes for painting or pottery you try to do for years and you never got around to it. I also realized that I have more desire for creativity. And I've heard this is one of the biggest occurrences as well. People have to express themselves through creativity. And however it is for you, you don't have to be a painter or an artist to be creative. You can be creative in a kitchen. You can create more beautiful space around you, start dressing nicer, or create a garden. It doesn't have to be necessarily, painting or doing sculptures or writing songs or composing music. Anything you create with your hands, with your mind, is creativity. So see if this helps and this creates more space and peace for you. Revisiting the past. Yes, you might be experiencing the need to have closure with the past, closure with people, either go into forgiveness or explaining things or apologizing, and might be uncomfortable to revisit the past, but it might be also necessary for you. So heightened sense of not being on the planet. So this is, being spacey, not being on the planet, being somewhere else. Also longing to go home to another planet, to where's my real family? And you say when you look up into the stars or sky, and the sense might be really, really strong right now. Glimpses into oneness. You might have that overwhelming jolts of joy, feeling one with everyone, feeling that love or kindness flowing through you, feeling like you really care about humanity. And this is so beautiful, and we are all stepping into that space sooner or later. New sense of time, we talked about it. What else? I think I addressed them all. So what can you do to offset those symptoms? Drink as much water as possible, clean, good water. Drink water, limit intake of alcohol or drugs, almost from pharmaceuticals, if you can, of course. I'm not telling you to drop your prescription meds, but if there's any way of limiting something, if you routinely pop painkillers or any chemicals, maybe you can ask your body muscle tests if your body still is requiring it. Keep your bodies flexible and strong. Yes, I didn't feel like I want to move at all most of the time, but when I started moving, my body felt so grateful and felt so strong and so good, even with just little bit time in the gym or yoga class. Breathe deeply at every opportunity. Choose to be in allowance of people and things around you, and also yourself. This is the biggest ask, to feel in allowance of you, to be in allowance of you, of your choices, of your past, of your situation, whatever situation you're in. Disconnect from fear based mass media, fear-based reality, talking to people that function from fear. Just limit that, because fear is now really big and is very ever present everywhere we look. Really listen to your body. If your body wants to eat more organic and more healthy and more vegetarian or vegan, go for it. Maybe my body became very intolerant to gluten, which I still eat because I love bread, but I have to acknowledge it, my body really has a hard time with it. So whenever I can, I don't eat it. I try to negotiate with my body, but it lets me know it really is not working for it right now. So try to go within. If you can, find a time to sit peacefully. If you have any meditation practice or had and dropped it, go back to it and see if it helps. It really helps me. Just sit down. I don't know if I call it meditation, but I just sit down in quietness or lay down and allow to relax. So this is all that's necessary. You can connect it with the breathing techniques. You can connect it with some yoga, however you want to do it. And also start focusing on those patterns that are emerging, on those limitations, on those thoughts, feelings, emotions, energies that are bubbling up and coming up. And use any technique you want to use to release it, to clear it, to erase it, because this will be very, very helpful. Some of it is happening organically, and some of it needs to happen with your help. So there's some comments. Yes, Heather says she's been doing extruding downloads and physical upgrades. Yes, this is happening a lot and it feels really cool. And Carol says that makes sense about creativity. I've been painting and drawing and writing up in so much space. Yes. And I've heard it from so many people that they love art now and they have to create and they're so happy when they do that. So find time, find space to do this for yourself. I know there's some people having questions, so let me see if I can unmute the phone number. I unmuted 747 number. This is
That would be me.
Yeah, hi. Ask your question, honey.
Thank you, Boshinka. Well, first of all, everything you said, every single thing, that's what I'm going through and been going through. It's amazing how exactly you described every single detail. My question is, how do we get deal with in oneness and in allowance of those who are our loved ones, our part of family, whatever description of relationship or devotion, those who are choose to reject the truth of us, our message, but we still care about them because we love them. And I am asking how I will find that peace on no resistance and allowance for them to choose whatever they choose in relation to me. Do you read my question okay, or should I clarify?
Yes. No, yeah, I understand. And it's actually a great question. I'm going to mute you because you come with a lot of noise, okay? Thank you. Thank you for the question, Ilanka. So this is a great question, guys, because I forgot to mention it. Actually, you can't take everyone with you. This is your process. This is your journey. This is your experience. And I had to kind of go through that myself with my kids. And during the divorce, a lot of ugliness happened and showed up, and they've been turned against me on and off. And I really had to get it that I can't take them with me. I have to be willing to lose everyone, my family, my loved ones, and hopefully they will get inspired. Hopefully I will be the invitation but I can't pull anyone with me or convince anyone with me. The more I tried it, the worse it got. So allowance is a great thing. And I didn't really actually explain what is happening. So when we shifting, some people will shift and some people will not. Some people will hold onto the old ways, old paradigm, the separation, the judgment, the heaviness, old habits, old programs, and we can't really help them. So what's occurring right now, it's what's called out there new earth. And it's not like our earth will separate into two different planets. It's already occurring. We're already having two simultaneously coexisting earths, and the separation is becoming greater and greater from what I perceive. You probably see how much unrest and drama and trauma is happening everywhere in the world. We have more conflict than ever. There are revolutions happening, but also a lot of killing and a lot of really dramatic circumstances in many countries. And you might be in those countries, and this is the sign of this separation. So from what I gather, when we shift into different density or different dimension, we still have all those people around us, but we almost like we'll be living in different dimension. We'll see them, we'll live with them, we'll coexist with them, we'll co-create with them, but our perception of reality will be completely different. And I've experienced it many times. I saw that I see completely different things that people around me in the same situation. I chose to focus on the positive, or what will feed my soul and make me joyful, rather than choose the negative. Sometimes I snap into the negative as well, but I can perceive that I'm choosing it. I'm aware of choosing that. So the division will be greater and greater. It's up to us which reality will we choose. The one based in lightness, love, high frequencies, light, or the ones based in heaviness and separation. So also, how is it that we can coexist and have different realities? We are creating our realities. Your point of view creates your reality. You've heard it before many times probably, and now this is true more than ever. We become so much faster in creating everything. We manifest things, we actualize things much faster. So if you focus on the negative thoughts and believe those thoughts, rather than no, I am not my thoughts, this is just a thought, this is just an awareness of something or somebody. It's appearing in front of me. I think that, I feel that, but it doesn't mean it's real. And when we stop believing those thoughts and shift into something more positive, light, and that makes us feel more expanded and happy and joyful, this is how we're going to create. If you're experiencing problems at work, if you focus on your problems, they're going to get worse. If you focus on the gratitude for everything already being resolved, you're actually creating the reality. You're jumping to the future that actually coexists simultaneously, and you're living that future. And that quickly will shift the reality you're experiencing right now. And we now have the capacity to jump those timelines, and past, present, future exists simultaneously. So there's no future somewhere in the future in 5 years where my experience is linearly in 5 years, but it actually already exists. All the scenarios already exist. And it's up to us which scenario, which reality will we choose. So all of it is already written. It's there, it's out there. So now more than ever, we have to be very diligent and catching ourselves on those negative mindset and these old programs, and being back into the way of thinking that your family maybe has that you hate, or where you're coming from, or your culture or your religion. You have to be more diligent about what you choose to function from. And so you will become, with that constant choice of lightness, of consciousness, oneness, focusing on what's highly vibrational, not going into the blame, shame, regret, judgment, guilt, all this crappy low vibrations, you will become the beacon of light. You will become the invitation to a different reality. You will become that foundation for that new earth and that new reality and new paradigm. And also how it works with the vibrations. When we start vibrating higher, and this is what our bodies are preparing for and our minds are preparing for, we can function. It's like switching into a different radio channel. They all are available, yet people choose to listen usually to one channel, maybe two channels. We have to switch to another channel. So they're all available. So some people right next to us will be listening to a different channel than we are. We can coexist in the same space, and we're listening to different music with our headphones on. We're listening to happy, joyful, enlightened music, and they're listening to grumpy, doomy and gloomy music. So Carol says, I feel like there are two parts of me. One thinks the revolution must be physical and that the anger is legitimate. The other realizes that this is not the way and the change is already happening, but requires something different. It is a question I can make to realize what is really my way to change and support change on the planet. So what if all of this was true and you are expanding into being aware of that multidimensional reality? So I've experienced this as well. I forgot to tell you that I might be sitting in the middle of the problem, fully being engaged in the problem and going into the drama and trauma, but at the same time I'm watching myself from a cosmic perspective, how pathetic I'm behaving and what a victim I'm being, and I'm laughing at myself. So that is actually awesome and brilliant that we can do it. What will I choose? Zoom out and look at that from different perspective, or indulge in this drama and it feels so good to feel bad and I want to cry for days right now because life just sucks. So I kind of embraced it all. I stopped just immediately trying to clear everything. If I feel crappy, I feel crappy. I'm embraced feeling crappy, knowing that nothing is real, knowing that this is an illusion anyway, that I'm playing my role and pretending to be a really good actress in this role. So I have this always, multi-dimensional awareness of what is. And also when I see other people, I can get annoyed on the human level at someone. Then I see another level. Why are they doing what they're doing? Why they chose what they chose? What is happening right now? How am I reacting while I could be not reacting and choosing to respond and be fully conscious and loving in the situation while I'm going to the drama and choosing to cry? And so it's like we're awesome. We can be really brilliant in our place. So what will you choose? I have the same experience, yes. So just acknowledge that you are the support on the planet, that you are playing a role in this ascension process of the planet. And planet is going, whether we like it or not. So we always think, we have to save the planet, we have to care for the planet. Yes. Judgment is the worst for the planet. Us feeling horrible about ourselves is bad for the planet, but planet is going no matter what. Even if we destroy all the resources, we make this planet inhabitable for us, for human race. The planet will keep going. It will regenerate itself, or it will be going as a bare planet like Moon is, or some other planets. We cannot destroy it as it is. So we can destroy it as it is. We can destroy the natural beauty, but the planet will go on, and the planet is going into this process, through this process as well. So it's not only us going through the ascension. We're like fleas on the dog. We're being on the planet, being pulled. Planet is going, and we're like, okay, let's go. We can go, or we can let go and die. So it's up to us completely. So I've been talking for almost an hour. If you have any, thank you, honey. If you have any questions, please ask them right now. And I chose to create another class. This time it will be a paid class for very little, because I want everyone to be able to join it, embodying the new paradigm. And this will be more clearing all the old stuff, the ancestral, generational, past lifetimes, the lower vibrations, everywhere we're still choosing that crappy reality. And I will do activation, shifts, downloads in a form of meditation that will help you feel different with all of this. I'm working with a lot of different beings, with a lot of energies right now. And I hope I can contribute to all of you. This will be happening on October 24th. It's Thursday, so almost 2 weeks, embodying the new paradigm, and 2 p.m. Pacific. And it would be $30. So I'm offering it only for $30 so everyone can join. Everyone who has been experiencing what I've been talking about, I've been kind of explaining it more in this meeting, and would like to assist you in clearing and releasing all those energies if you choose to join me on the 24th. So thank you so very much. I'm so grateful for all of you participating now and listening in the future. This will be recorded as the video and MP3, so you can watch and listen in the future. And let me know if this was a contribution. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have something specific you would like to work, if you choose to join me on the 24th. And I'm super grateful. I'm super happy I can create again. And I feel inspired to create again, because for months I just couldn't. I had to sit still and deal with my crap. And I know now is the time for all of us to wake up, to stand up, to be the fullness, the greatness, the beauty, the brilliance of us. And we all need it. We all are needed on this planet and in this universe and galaxies and beyond. So thank you so much, my beautiful friends. And I hopefully see you on the 24th or somewhere else, sometime else in the future. So now I'm stopping the recording and ending the meeting. Ciao.